I think that it's pretty obvious because during his tenure, he's destroyed safety and security, quality education, economic opportunity, energy independence, just names four off the hit parade. Those should be.
State Representative Chris Miller, a Republican, looking at new polling data from Illinois Policy Institute and M3 strategies that shows Governor J.B. Pritzker is underwater in a favorability poll. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and wake up with us each and every weekday morning as we break things down for you here in the land of Lincoln. 2026, we still months away, obviously. Just, August 8th, so it's not quite time to ring in the new year, but the political season's already started. People are circulating petitions to get on the Democrat ballot for the primary and the Republican ballot for the primary, and that's going to be in March. And then you've got the November elections, the midterm election for Congress with members of the U.S. House running for re-election. And even in Illinois, we've got U.S. Senator Dick Durbin vacating his seat after this term, so we are going to get a new U.S. Senator. Is it going to be a Democrat or a Republican? I guess we'll find out in November of 2026. But something else that's up in 2026, Governor J.B. Pritzker's second term. So he has announced he's running for a third term, and is that going to be a easy run, or is he heading up against some headwinds after almost 8 years he'll have of running the state of Illinois, and all of the tax increases, the increased spending? We're looking at some of the data, and it's pretty remarkable how much the state has increased in spending just over the past 8 years, let alone the past 12 years. So what's Governor J.B. Pritzker's favorability? Jim Talamonte, reporter out of Chicago for the Center Square, he wrote this to give you an idea of how Governor Pritzker's approval rating is in the latest polling data.
The Illinois Policy Institute's newest Lincoln poll, conducted by M3 Strategies, found that 50.2% of voters view the governor unfavorably, and 47.2% view Pritzker favorably. Illinois Policy Institute senior fellow and former Illinois State Rep Mark Batnick said he would have advised Pritzker not to run for a third term.
Third terms often are called the third term curse, number one. Number two, running a general election for governor doesn't match with what you talk about running in a far-left Democratic primary for president.
Batnick said M3 Strategies nailed the Chicago mayoral race and other Illinois elections.
If you look at M3's polling has been extremely accurate in terms of what they've released publicly.
60% of respondents identified taxes as a top issue facing Illinois.
The fact that he has the gall to talk about Trump's tariffs and calling them a tax on the working class, well, that just reminds everybody that he massively raised the gas tax, that our property taxes are number one in the nation.
Batnick said it's possible that 10% of the people who previously voted for Pritzker now support President Donald Trump.
He's leaned into those things that are giving the Democrats low popularity, right? The extremism of the Democratic Party does not play with the general electorate.
I'm Jim Talamonte.
You can hear more of a conversation that I have with Jim for Illinois in Focus Weekend Edition, which if you subscribe to us here on YouTube, you'll get that. If you subscribe to us via any podcast server, you'll get that. And Illinois in Focus Weekend Edition is kind of our weekend wrap-up of all of these different types of stories. So Jim and I walk through that for you. And you can even catch that on some broadcast stations as well across the state of Illinois. Illinois in Focus Weekend Edition. But let's take a look at that polling data, the actual release that the M3 Strategies and Illinois Policy put out here, so that we can kind of get a general sense of the stuff they're looking at. So they surveyed 752 likely 2026 general election voters between July 15th and July 18th, and has a margin of error of 3.57%. It finds that high taxes dominates the top issue statewide, cited by 60% of respondents. State governance was only 26%, the economy 25%, 19% for crime, other concerns that were raised. Despite frequent media and political focus, education only got 17% of concern, housing at 13%, immigration at 12%, fall further down the priority list. 50.1% respondents say they would prefer to move away from Illinois if given the opportunity. Only 41% said they would prefer to stay, and around 9% said that they were unsure. Notably, Notably, Trump voters, 86%, are far more likely to want to leave the state than Harris voters, 24%, indicating ideological dissatisfaction may be fueling the desire to relocate. Regionally, Southern Illinois, 69%, and Central Illinois, 55% of voters show the strongest intent to move. Policy suggestions, tax relief and fiscal reform, anti-Chicago sentiment and regional sentiments, and also education reform and school funding reform. Just some of these other issues, criminal justice, immigration enforcement, government accountability. And again, you can link up to this at the story that Jim put together at the Center Square and read this for yourself. So Governor Pritzker's favorability declined, where he used to enjoy a modest low single-digit positive net favorability. His net favorability has softened, and for the first time in these ongoing tracking polls, Pritzker has registered a negative net favorability of minus 2.98%. It's right there, just below the margin of error as well. So that's got to be pointed out. So again, some of the various breakouts here of the polling questions and how the respondents responded. You can find this linked up at thecentersquare.com. So the governor, is he going into having an unfavorable rating, looking for a third term, and how's that going to impact the election in 2026? But a big question is, who's going to be the Republican candidate? Now, again, the primary hasn't happened yet. We've got a primary in March. We've heard some names tossed out there for Republican contenders. Sheriff Mendrick, one of them, for instance. So, is he going to be the most prominent person in this, or is there going to be somebody else who all of a sudden comes out of nowhere? We've heard other names thrown around, but I guess we won't find out until the actual filing period begins. I think it's in October when they have to turn petitions in to get on the primary ballot. So who's the Republican candidate going to be to go up against Governor J.B. Pritzker as an incumbent looking for a third term? It's a big question. But one thing that I think Republicans are already looking at is what are the issues that Pritzker is most vulnerable on, especially considering this polling data, having Pritzker for the first time underwater in favorability. Here is Republican State Representative Chris Miller. Dan, go.
It's pretty obvious because during his tenure, he's destroyed safety and security, quality education, economic opportunity, energy independence. Just names four off the hit parade. Those should be resonate with every voter. And why they would think that a leopard never changes his spots, and to think that he's going to change anything if you give him one more term, I don't see that happening. So those are four things just off the top of my head that is going to make him extremely vulnerable. The problem is we have a complicit press. They never ask him any hardball questions. They never ever have any hard follow-up questions. And so basically he's been able to scam the citizens of Illinois into thinking that he's Mr. Wonderful, which he's been the orchestra director of this mess, and he's actually screwed up one of the greatest states in the United States of America.
Again, that's Republican State Representative Chris Miller reacting to the latest polling data showing that Pritzker's underwater for the first time heading into an election year. It's Illinois in Focus Daily. I'm Greg Bishop on this Friday. Each and every weekday morning, you can wake up with us here for more Illinois in Focus Daily, only with the Center Square.